Hello people, Doyboy35 in the house. So, Target sells Gundam model kits now. Ta-da! Now, this isn't the first time Bandai has made a major push to sell Gundam stuff in the States, but it has been a while, which I think makes this pretty significant. Now, it wasn't impossible to get Gundam model kits in the States before this. We had online retailers, hobby shops, and the occasional Hobby Lobby, Barnes Noble, or GameStop. But it wasn't the kind of places where you could just walk in and impulse buy them along with your groceries and a pack of batteries. No, you often had to go out of your way to seek these places out and know exactly what to look for. Also, depending on where you live, the selection and prices could be hit or miss. Since 2020, it seems like Bandai has been trying extra hard to get more anime stuff in the hands of the regular, casual, entry-level consumer, with action figures of various price points, whatever this is, and most importantly, for this video anyway, model kits. A huge hobby in Asia, but a relatively obscure one here. Well, at least where I live. Now, I love action figures, but what I appreciate about model kits, especially those made by Bandai, is that they have all the complexity of a high-end action figure, but usually for a fraction of the price. You also get to put the figure together, meaning you get a greater appreciation for the engineering that went into designing it. I also like how Bandai encourages customers to modify and customize their models. Of course, they also sell equipment to help facilitate that, but, it's still cool. Now, not every Target sells Gundam stuff, let alone model kits, but I still think it's cool because there's just so many Targets all over the place. So there is a good chance you will run into one that does stock Gundam model kits. Bandai also briefly attempted to do the same with Fred Meyer and maybe a couple other department stores, but it appears that they are focusing on Target for now. I think if this is done right, this partnership between Bandai and Target can potentially create a new generation of Gunpla hobbyists in the States, which in my opinion would be pretty cool. This is a video I've been trying to work on for a few years now, documenting kits, their dates of release, and their prices. What I want to do today is look at the Gundam model kits Bandai has decided to distribute to Target, giving my brief opinion on each kit, and say if I think the kit was a good choice to bring over to Target or not for the potential new audience. Then, I want to hypothesize where Bandai and Target will go from here, and also what kits I would want Target to sell had I the choice. Side note, I will only be talking about Gundam model kits in this video, so no Gundam Universe or Gundam Infinity figures, no Dragon Ball Z, Star Wars or Naruto kits, no Anime Heroes action figures, no SH figure arts. Not because I think they are bad or aren't significant to this discussion. It's just that I want to keep this video focused and I didn't document any of that other stuff very well. I'm lazy. I'm sorry. Also, please let me know if I forgot any kits or made any mistakes in my data. Most of it I collected myself and had to grab some online. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be borrowing pictures from Dalong.net. Really good website, has huge archive of Gundam model kit pictures. Now, imagine you're me walking through Target in the spring of 2020. I was shopping for like lettuce at Target or something, and I was just walking by where they store the Funko Pops. And I turn my head and I see a high-grade Barbatos model kit. I thought, I must be hallucinating. I've finally cracked. But the more I looked, the more I found, such as the high-grade Universal Century RX-78-2 Gundam Revived, sold for about $12 at Target. This kit was originally released 5 years earlier by Bandai in 2015, but it was and continues to be a great kit. A good selection of accessories, a simple but solid build, and great articulation. It looks great simply snap-built out of the box, but also acts as an excellent canvas for awesome custom builds. In my opinion, this version of the OG Granddaddy Gundam was an excellent choice for Target to stock, as it is a great kit for both beginners and longtime fans of the Gundam franchise. It's essentially the Optimus Prime of the Gundam series, the franchise's face, so it makes sense that Bandai would want to sell this first. Its relatively lower price point also lowers the barrier of entry for people trying to try out the hobby, which is also a plus. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I often am, but I've heard online that Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans wasn't very popular in Japan, which led to its model kit line not selling well, which is a shame because I really like the series. and I've built several model kits from the series, and they were all great. And it seems like a lot of fans outside of Japan agree with me. So the next kit chosen to be sold in the States seems like a pretty obvious choice. The high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans Gundam Barbatos was sold at Target for about $13. Like the high-grade Revive Gundam, this kit was also originally sold in 2015. This kit comes with an okay amount of accessories, 2 weapons, and some option parts. But what makes this kit really cool, especially for beginners, is the near-complete internal frame this kit utilizes. This kit can show new model kit builders a different way a kit can be designed, and open up new avenues of customization, as both the inner frame and the outer armor can be painted and modified. Now, this kit uses a lot of stickers, which usually doesn't make for a fun building experience. The bigger problem with this kit, and many other kits from the Iron-Blooded Orphan series, especially more recent reprints, is that due to the way the internal frame is engineered, the kits can become floppy over time, joints being loose, key parts of the skeleton falling apart, or not being able to hold their own weight, especially when holding some of the bigger weapons. This model kit comes with this huge mace thing, for example, but the frame on this model isn't strong enough to actually hold it aloft, so I usually just have it holding the katana instead, which is a real shame. I've seen reports of some builders finding their kits floppy right out of the box, which is, while definitely fixable, doesn't set a good precedent as someone's potential first model kit. So unfortunately, while I really do like this model kit, and it has all the things that can make up a good beginner's model kit, I have to place this below the high-grade Granddaddy. Not too much lower, but still lower. That makes me kind of sad. I don't like being negative. Maybe the next kit will cheer me up. The high-grade Iron-Blooded Orphans Gundam Barbatos Lupus Rex, being sold for about $18 and was originally released in 2017. To start, this kit looks awesome. Demonic, monstrous, third positive adjective. It has this awesome tail that's on a wire so it can be posed completely decimating enemies. It's definitely bigger than the original Barbatos as well, justifying the price jump. However, the size is also what kind of hurts it. This model kit utilizes a similar internal frame system that the original Barbatos used, with seemingly more solid joints in the arms and legs. It's actually able to hold the giant mace it comes with. However, the extra weight seems to be too much for the waist joint, as over time the upper torso becomes to slump over and can even fall off eventually. Still, this kit has pretty good shelf presence. It's not that much more complicated to put together as the original Barbatos, and also uses a lot less stickers, yellow claws notwithstanding, and is still overall a good kit, only needing a little bit of TLC. So I'm putting this just below the Barbatos, I think. That waist joint would be a pain for a new model kit builder to figure out how to fix, in my opinion. Just a reminder, again, I'm not ranking these kits based on their quality as Gundam kits or how much I like them or the design, but on if I think they would make a good gift or impulse buy for someone who hasn't put together a Gundam model kit before. So, remember when I said this isn't the first time Gundam has been sold in the States? I was only 2 years old at the time, so I have no personal memories of this, but in 2001, Gundam Wing was apparently a smash hit in the States, and many people still have fond memories of it and the merch that came out alongside it, even if they don't interact with the franchise anymore. So, this next kit, along with many kits to follow, were probably easy choices for Bandai to send to Target. The HGAC Gundam Wing Zero, selling for $18, was originally released in 2014, making this the oldest kit sold by Target at this point. Now, I would have thought that they would have sold the regular Wing Gundam first, since, that's the Gundam the show is named after. But from online reactions to this kit, it seems like a lot of people have fond memories of this design and were really excited to put it together as their first Gundam model kit. So, what do I know? I admit this kit is awesome. It has an iconic striking look. It has these 2 laser guns that can combine into a bigger laser gun. It transforms while still having a solid build. It definitely has that nostalgia factor going for it. So it's a perfect choice for a beginner, right? Well, the kit's age does show a bit with the slightly less intuitive construction, needing a few stickers and some paint to look show accurate, though not as egregious as either the Barbatos kits. And the fact that in order to fully transform, you need to swap the feet out, so you'd need like a Tupperware or a bag or something to keep that around. I keep all my accessories in the Moose Munch tin. What do you keep your spare parts in? But overall, This kit is a good representation of what a typical Gundam model kit is like in my opinion, and has all those other positives I listed before, so I will rank this below the Granddaddy but above the Barbatos kits. I mean, at least it can hold a pose without falling over, right? So this next kit I have to limit my opinions on as I actually didn't buy it, but I still wanted to talk about it. The Master Grade Barbatos selling for a whopping $52. Originally released in 2019, this was the most recent kit sold by Target in this wave. Master Grade kits are substantially bigger than high grade kits due to the larger scale. Now, I don't own this kit because I don't really collect Master Grade model kits. I prefer the 1/144th scale, but I've heard this kit is really good. It has an internal frame, but unlike the HG kits, I haven't heard any reports of floppiness. Master Grade kits have been doing internal frames for years now, so the people behind this kit probably have a lot of experience with it. The higher price point not only means the kit is significantly bigger than the high grade, it also gives the kit access to higher quality materials, bigger runners, more plastic colors, and a more complex build. This higher price point unfortunately is also why I think Target hasn't put any more MG kits on the shelves ever since. From what I personally saw at Target, each store only stocked about 1 or 2, but even then they had a hard time moving them. Not moving like picking up and putting down, but like selling. You know, they were shelf warming. I know that Master Grade kits are awesome, even if you are a beginner. I put my first Master Grade kit together this past month and I had a good time. But the average person probably doesn't know that. The box, while awesome looking, I don't think does a good job explaining to the average person what justifies the kit's price point. Like, they need to show a pencil or an apple for scale or something. I know it's worth the money, and you know it's worth the money, but again, the average person probably doesn't know that. All they see is the price. It's just too expensive, and perhaps too complex for the casual person to try as their first model kit, and all the people who already wanted to buy an MG Barbatos probably already had one. So, for those reasons, I'm putting this kit at the bottom of the rankings for now. Again, not because it's a bad kit, but it's not one I would recommend Target to sell, at least for now. Maybe in a few years, once people have gotten hooked on Gunpla, Target could try selling Master Grade kits again. So, later Target would put another wave of kits on the shelves, showing me that Target and Bandai were at least somewhat committed to putting more kits on the shelves, and that this wasn't a one-time thing. The entry grade RX-78-2, sold for only $8, in my opinion is the perfect first Gunpla kit. Entry grade kits are models specifically designed for beginners. You can really tell how much thought was put into this kit. Runners were engineered to make part removal easier than normal, even advertised not requiring nippers to do so. Parts are easy to put together and take apart, so mistakes could easily be remedied and make potential future customization much more accessible. The individual parts are complex in their design, but this is to facilitate a much simpler assembly experience, as well as added extra details to the model that would have otherwise had to have been stickers. This kit doesn't use any stickers at all. It only needs a little paint on the gun for perfect color accuracy. Even the little V on the crotch is actually a yellow piece of plastic, and not requiring paint or a sticker. Not even the high-grade Revive can boast that. Now, this isn't to say that this kit is automatically better than the high-grade Revive. It has less articulation, not much less, but still less. It doesn't come with extra posed hands, which to me as someone who doesn't typically use those isn't a big deal. But what is a big deal is that the model kit lacks in the weapon department. No bazookas and no beam effect parts for the sabers. Sure, the beam sabers are compatible with all other beams from other kits, but a beginner probably won't have any of these, which makes these essentially back-mounted microphones. This is something that would be fixed later, but not for a couple of years. Still, this kit is excellent for a beginner and demonstrates some intelligent engineering on Bandai's part. Despite the lack of accessories, I still think this kit was a very good choice for Bandai to send to Target, considering its purpose and low price point. I almost think Bandai wanted to export this kit instead of the Revive, but couldn't due to the kit not being ready for production, and sent the Revive in its place. I hope no people were confused as to why Target was concurrently stocking 2 model kits of the same mech in the same scale at 2 different price points. Now, by 2021, I was still not sure if this deal between Bandai and Target would continue, especially since we were in the thick of the pandemic and there was that whole global Gunpla shortage. However, I was pleasantly surprised with the arrival of new kits on Target shelves. The HGAC Heavy Arms Gundam selling for $23, another Gundam from the Wing show released by Bandai in 2020, and my personal favorite of the Operation Meteor team. It's like a designer was challenged to see how many weapons he could strap to a Gundam. Every part of this mech is armed to the teeth. The head has machine guns, the shoulders have missiles, the arms have a blade and a huge minigun, the legs even have more missiles, the chest even opens up to reveal even more guns. If you told me this Gundam had a bazooka up his butt, I would believe you. Now, the price point compared to the 2020 kits is noticeable, but I still think this kit justifies its price point considering all the working hatches it has. For comparison, I have this model kit from the 90s, and it only has maybe half the working weapons the new model has. I mean, I still love it though. This kit isn't perfect though. The blue parts of the chest are stickers, and in my opinion, they look terrible. You can't put flat stickers on an angled surface and expect them to stick well. I mean, I understand the parts that would have been necessary to take this place of the stickers would have been barely bigger than grains of sand, but I still can't ignore the stickers as they are smack dab in the middle of the chest. And painting would be a pain too due to the size of the details. But in any case, I still think this kit was a good decision for Target to stock. Speaking as someone who didn't grow up with Gundam Wing and thus has no nostalgia for the design, I still love it. Is it because of the guns? Yeah, it's because of the guns. But it's also a solid figure overall, and I think any fan of giant robots would love it. While I personally love this kit more than the Wing Zero, based on the theme of the rankings, I'll put them on equal footing with each other. This next kit I don't know much about, but I still think it looks cool. This is the HGCE Strike Freedom Gundam, also selling for $23. This kit was originally released in 2016. Like the Heavy Arms, it's armed to the teeth, but takes a more elegant approach. The blue bits on the wings are apparently drones, each armed with lasers. The side skirts each hold a massive laser rifle, and the back skirt can fold out and reveal an additional 2 laser guns and a couple of beam sabers. The arms can wield what I assume is a beam shield, which is an awesome idea. I also appreciate how all the weapons can be stored on the figure. The articulation is good too. I like how all the joints are gold. It makes it seem like the creators of this mech spared no expense to make this Gundam a super weapon. This kit definitely has a presence to it, and it looks awesome. I wish this kit came with a stand though. The backpack causes some weight issues depending on the pose you put it in, and a stand would have helped a lot. I do question why Bandai decided to send this kit to Target though. While the anime series that preceded the one that this Gundam comes from, Seed, continues to be wildly popular, the series that this Gundam hails from, Seed Destiny, was to my knowledge one of the least popular. I can't say for certain because I haven't seen the series yet, but if that's the case, I'm not sure why Bandai decided to send this kit over instead of, say, the HGCE Ale Strike Gundam instead. In any case, speaking as someone who knows nothing about the lore of this mech, I think it looks cool, and the folding weapons and backpack are sure to be an interesting experience for a beginner. Below Wing and Heavy Arms, but above everything else. The next kit is another one I passed on since I heard online it wasn't great. The Real Grade Exia, the first RG kit sold at Target. Sold for about $35, but I've heard reports that it sold as low as $27 at some Targets. Released originally in 2014, this kit apparently was not very solid of a model. Real grade kits, for those who aren't in the know, are essentially bringing the complexity of master grade kits to the size of a high grade kit to mix results, especially with the early kits like this one. Lots of tiny parts that fall off easy, internal frame joints that get loose over time or loose out of the box, things that are not beginner or even intermediate friendly. I've put together a couple of RG kits before, and I definitely know that the older ones can be frustrating. I have no personal experience with this particular kit, however, so I have no personal opinions on this. But if the reports are true about how much of a hand grenade it is, that's probably not something you would want to release to a casual audience who may buy it, have a bad time, and think all Gunpla is of similar quality and never pick up the hobby ever again. I'm also not sure how popular Gundam 00, the series this Gundam comes from, is in the States. I mean, I saw it and I liked it, but as far as cultural impact, I'm not so sure. For those reasons, until I try the kit out for myself, I'm going to put it at the bottom of the list. I mean, for all I know, this kit is actually the best out of all of these. I'm just going off of what I've heard. Now, in the beginning of fall of 2021, something interesting would happen between Target and Bandai. Bandai would create a new line of model kits, the high-grade Gundam Breaker Battlelog, but decided to release it in the US first. Bandai must have real faith in the US in order to pull a stunt like that. The first kit I want to look at is the high-grade Gundam Helios, selling for $25. Apparently this is the poster boy for an online anime and mobile game. I have no experience with either, so I'm just going to look at the model on its own merits. I assumed that Bandai really wanted Americans to watch the anime and play the game for some reason, because otherwise these designs are pretty obscure to bring to the US in my opinion, especially to be sent to the United States first. Apparently this kit takes parts in engineering from previous HDCE kits, Freedom Gundam and Destiny Gundam, but again, as someone who has no experience with the Seed Saga of Gundam, I wouldn't be able to tell you which parts were from where without looking online. This kit is awesome though. I love the liberal use of transparent plastic throughout the model. It has two giant shoulder guns that store a couple of beam sabers. There are these flaps that can reveal even more transparent plastic. The eyes have this red teardrop design and makes it look like it's crying blood. That's really metal. Now, you may have noticed that I have the wings upside down compared to the official way you're supposed to build the model. The reason why I have the wings upside down on my model is because on my version, it seems to have a major flaw in the middle torso ball joint. If I have the wings the proper orientation, the body can't seem to support the weight and it just kind of splits in half, Darth Maul style. It's even more loose than the Iron-Blooded Orphans kits, which really isn't great considering it's a slightly more expensive model. This is another situation where I wished it came with a stand. Because of the wings and my waist problem, it's really hard to get to stand up sometimes. I'm not really bothered by the fact I have to put the wings upside down because I think they look better that way, but a beginner might not know to do that or be disappointed when they have to do that, so I'm going to have to take points off. It's a real shame because otherwise I think the model looks really cool. But I think if this is supposed to be like the main character Gundam, they should have made sure everything was perfect. It's definitely not the worst kit on this list, but I'm going to have to put it on the same level as the IBO kits. The next kit I'm going to look at is actually kind of funny. It's called the Live Lance Heaven Gundam, also selling for $25. It's supposed to be an inverse parody of the Death Scythe Hell Gundam from Gundam Wing rather than being an angel of death. It's supposed to look more angelic. I think it's pretty funny for multiple reasons. One, just Bandai having fun with a concept, but I wonder if it's also a reference to how the United States pulled a lot of Death Scythe Hell model kits and toys off the shelf because it used the word hell in the name. It's just kind of funny. Oh, you don't want hell in your model kit? Well, here's an angel. Take that, Americans. I don't know. This kit is really cool on its own right. The cloak it has can unfold into these nice set of wings. It really gives the model kit a nice shelf presence. Due to the origins of this kit, the lance actually has a hinge in it so you can make it look more like a scythe if you wanted to. I prefer the lance look, but I'm just saying you have options. Gundam Wing fans will probably get a kick out of this kit conceptually, and it's a great kit on its own. Strangely, there is a Death Scythe Hell kit that this kit is derived from, but Bandai decided to make it a P-Bandai exclusive for some reason, so unfortunately for people outside of Japan, you might have a harder time getting your hands on that kit. You would think it would be the other way around, right? The Gundam from the actual show that everyone liked would be the main release, whereas the relatively obscure derivative would be an exclusive. But I don't know anything. No stability issues, has an awesome weapon, but due to the relatively obscure source material, I'm going to put it on the same level as the Heavy Arms and Wing. Next kit, also selling for $25, is the high-grade Perfect Strike Freedom Gundam. So I vaguely know that the Strike Gundam had all these attachments you could put on it to create something called the Perfect Strike Gundam. And I know the Strike Freedom is supposed to be like the upgraded model, the new improved version of the Strike. So I think this is supposed to be the Strike Freedom if they put all of the original Strike's attachments on it. I mean, that's cool. I love the look. These are some of the biggest wings I've ever seen on a Gundam. It comes with this giant gun, over-the-shoulder cannons, a giant sword with a beam blade, a beam shield, and shoulders that have Gatling guns and a claw that can be shot out in a wire. I just really like it. Unfortunately though, the size of the backpack makes it very back heavy, so some poses it might fall over. Again, another moment where I think the inclusion of a stand would have been appropriate, but otherwise, solid build, great weapons, fun concept, it's good good. High-grade Blazing Gundam, also selling for $25, derived from the high-grade G Gundam apparently. It's got this martial arts theme going for it, a couple of tonfas, some beam sabers, an alternate face for some reason, and this glowing foot piece. I assume that's for the finishing move. Insert Kamen Rider reference here, I don't know. It has these wings on the arms, but I don't know if they're blades or boosters. I should really watch the anime, huh? The box even has a QR code that should send me directly to it. Will I watch it? Eventually. I'm busy. Anyway, this kit, like the other Breaker Battlelog kits, doesn't have the recognizability factor going for it. I'll have to take a look at this kit on its own merits. Overall, while I do think it looks cool, and a lot of the parts from the G Gundam have been modified to the point where I wouldn't have recognized the source material unless someone told me, the price of the kit kind of hurts it for me. It's also selling for $25, but you seem to get a lot less than the other Breaker Battlelog kits so far. You don't get any massive wings, no giant weapons, don't even get as much stuff as like on the Wing Zero, and you have to pay 25% more. Did the glowing foot really cost that much, or are we paying extra because it comes with all these unused junk parts? Again, not a bad kit. I just wish it came with either more stuff or had a lower price point. I think if a new person came to the hobby and built this model kit, they'd be wondering where the money went. And we're going to be moving on. What are we looking at next? The high-grade Barbatorus selling for $25, derived from the high-grade Barbatos. So they took an already floppy frame system and tried to make a centaur out of it. Let's see how that went. So it looks cool. I always love a black and red mecha. It has this battle damage head crest along with the original katana. Instead of the huge mace, we get a couple of blades that combine into a bow. I love transforming weapons and combining weapons, and I like these weapons more than the mace at this point because the Gundam can actually hold them. It has this wire tail like on the Barbatos Lupus Rex, which I think is awesome. Unfortunately, at least in Centaur form, this kit falls apart after that. The IBO frame was already not the most stable thing and wasn't designed to be used in this way, so of course the build was going to be even less stable. Without a stand, this figure can barely stand upright in Centaur mode, and then you can't really do anything with it. Even in the professional photos, they have to put a stand on it. It's kind of a shame because of how cool the model looks. Look, I'm still looking at these from the perspective of what if this kit was my first. So let me say, while I personally love this model, I can't rank it any higher than the other Barbatos kits. In fact, I'm going to be putting it lower because of the stability issue. The last, but certainly not least of these kits released in this wave was the high-grade Gundam 00 Command Quanta. So this is a heavily modified version of the 00 Quanta, which was originally released all the way back in 2010, making this, I think, the oldest kit Target has released even till today. I gotta double check that. I'll do it later. I think this kit still holds up despite its age. It's got this heavy armor look, it's got this big sword, a shoulder-mounted missile launcher, a big gun, a shield that has more swords on it, and it's also a gun. Awesome stuff. It probably also helps that I love heavy armored mechs, and my favorite color is green. Out of all the kits from this wave of releases, this is definitely my personal favorite. I mean, as I say that, I cannot deny this kit isn't perfect for new model kit builders. While new model kit builders may be enticed by the more grounded military look, I know that look isn't for everybody. Also, while I think this kit holds up, some might be disappointed by the outdated engineering. I also admit that this kit doesn't really include that much stuff compared to the other kits in this price bracket. I mean, I think it includes more than the orange one. I forgot its name already. So as much as I adore this kit, I have no choice but to follow the theme of the ranking and put it lower on the list than I like. Again, definitely not a bad kit. I just think the price could be a little lower. So based on our criteria, the Battlelog kits are kinda hit or miss so far, huh? Let's see if the next kit will change that. This is the entry grade RX-78-2 US Gundam American type. It's sold for $9 at Target, and it's a Target exclusive. So they specifically wanted this sold in America. They took the original entry grade Gundam and they stuck the stars and stripes on it. I think this is really funny. It's like a parody of how Bandai would try to export Gundam to the United States. I want to put this at the top of the list, but I personally think that longtime Gundam fans would probably get a bigger kit out of this kit than beginners due to the novelty. So I'm just going to put it a little lower. So, 2022. Target continued to stock Breaker Battlelog kits. Again, all of them $25 each. So this wave of kits appears to be completely made up of recolors of older kits. However, they've actually had all their shoulder joints modified so that they all use the same size ball joint. This way so that all the arms could be swapped between them. And they also add a backpack adapter so that they could all swap backpacks with modern model kits. The high-grade Gundam Ground Urban Combat type is a slightly modified version of the high-grade Universal Century Ground Gundam released in 2018. The original kit is really good, and seeing how the only difference here is the new color of plastic and the shoulder joints, this must be a good kit too, right? Well, almost. While I like the new color scheme, I admit to some it might be a bit drab, especially without the orange highlights, which are all stickers. True, most of all the stickers are on flat surfaces, which would make them marginally easier to apply, but there's just so many of them, I just didn't bother. So this kit comes with a machine gun, a laser rifle, a shield, 2 beam sabers, and a box that contains parts for an additional huge gun. I have it somewhere, but I misplaced it. I wonder where it is. So this kit is good. The stickers may be intimidating and tedious for a beginner, but I still think the kit looks pretty good without the stickers. So the next kit we're going to look at is this red Zaku. I know it's not a Zaku. It was a joke. It was a bit. Put the gun down. So this is the high-grade Goof Crimson Custom, a red version of the 2010 high-grade Universal Century Goof Custom. I remember in 2021 people were having a hard time getting their hands on the Goof Custom kit, so I bet a lot of them were happy to get this red recolor. Despite the kit's age, I think this kit still holds up perfectly fine. It has a wire that shoots out and can electrocute targets. It has this shield that's also a Gatling gun that stores a sword. While I will always love the original blue colors more, this bright red color actually really pops here, bringing to mind the other famous red Zeon mobile suits. I think this kit was a very good choice for Bandai to bring over the Target. A little overpriced in my opinion, but it's still quality. You know what? I just realized this is the first not Gundam kit Target has stocked. Okay, time for a side tangent. I know the series is called Gundam, and that all the Gundams Target has stocked have been wildly different designs, but I think Target and Bandai would do well to show off some of the other designs from the franchise as well. You know, some Jims, some Zakus, some Leos. The model kit line has a lot of unique and equally awesome designs that I think a lot of people will enjoy. I really think it's a shame that it took them so long to stock one non-Gundam mobile suit. Okay, tangent over. Where was I? The next kit we're going to look at is the high-grade Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion, derived from the high-grade Gundam Astray Red Frame Flight Unit, released originally in 2013. This kit looks really cool, replacing the white with a dark gray and the red with a maroon, I think. It comes with a flight pack, a laser gun, a shield, and a giant sword. So this kit has a really interesting build, especially with the legs with the interwoven black and red parts. The very sleek design combined with the exposed pistons and techno-greebles would potentially be very enticing to Gundam builders new and old. So we run into similar problems before. This kit is a little overpriced, even when considering the modified parts included. Also on my copy, the hands fall apart easy, but I also have the same issue with my original Astray Red Frame, so hopefully it's just my copies though. The most major issue though is the sword. I appreciate that the sheath actually works, but considering how many stickers the kit wants you to put on the blade, those stickers will probably rub off really easily with multiple sheathing and unsheathing actions. Even if you paint the blade, I imagine the paint would scrape off really easy, but leaving the plastic bare like this just makes it look kind of cheap. Remember, this kit is $25. I'm not sure what the solution to this problem is besides adding a new color of plastic to the model that was probably out of the budget, or completely redesigning the sword, but it's just kind of a shame. I would rate it higher if the price was lower, but it's not, so I'm not. Last kit from this wave, it's the high-grade Wing Gundam Sky Zero. It's the Wing Zero, but green and $7 more expensive. Yeah, I know I just said that my favorite color is green, but I don't know, this kit still disappoints me. It doesn't even come with modified shoulders because the originals were fine. Other than the back adapter, I'm not sure why we're being charged so much extra. It's a good model kit, but the color scheme is a little less appealing in my opinion, and it's 25% more expensive. I'm grading this low. Well, by late 2022, at least where I live, the Battlelog kits were seemingly warming the shelves. I was worried that if they didn't sell well, Bandai was just kind of gonna give up again. But I was happily surprised when I saw a whole new wave of kits on display at my local Target. I guess the Battlelog kit sold well enough after all. This next kit is a really good choice in my opinion. The high-grade Char's Zaku 2 Revive is the second non-Gundam release at Target, originally released in 2020 and selling at Target for $18. So if you consider the Gundam as the Optimus Prime of the Gundam franchise, the Char's Zaku would be the Megatron. So it made sense to release this kit to Target shelves. It has great articulation, comes with a machine gun with a spare magazine, an axe, and a bazooka. Interestingly, the kit also comes with a replacement skirt that's made from more of a rubbery material. I think it's meant to replicate the soft look the waist armor had in the anime. I appreciate the inclusion, but I always fear that the kit may warp the rubber if it's posed in a certain way for too long, or worse, the rubber would fall apart over time, so I just use the plastic skirt instead. The head of the kit has a switch at the bottom that turns the eye left to right. I think it's an awesome gimmick, and I think a new Gundam builder would be thrilled by the inclusion. This kit was an excellent choice for Bandai to send over to the States, and I think everyone would appreciate more non-Gundam mobile suit kits in the future. Now this next kit is a little tricky for me to talk about because I never actually bought it. I never even saw it on shelves, but I saw a lot of people talking about it, so I assume it was released somewhere. The entry grade Gundam full weapons set selling for $13. Originally released in 2021, it was seemingly released to solve the problem of the original kit being light on accessories, or Bandai designed these parts already but didn't include them in the original kit to keep the price point low. This kit gave you an unmodified RX-78-2 Gundam with all the original accessories along with some more weapons. A bazooka, a spear, a spiked ball and a chain called the Gundam Hammer, and beam blades for the beam sabers. I feel like this would have been a good kit to release to Target if not for the previous two RX-78-2 kits that already existed. The accessories are nice, but I'm not sure if they're $5 nice. No, I don't know how much it costs Bandai to include new parts. I just think the extra $5 could be potentially the difference between a newcomer buying or passing on the kit. In early 2023, we would get even more kits on Target shelves. This wave of kits seems to be focusing more on the nostalgia factor that American customers may have. The HG Shenlong Gundam, originally released in 2022 and selling at Target for $22. I'm gonna wait for the plane to go by. Now, I haven't watched the Wing Gundam anime yet, but from what I've heard, the character who pilots this Gundam isn't the most popular. I'm glad the designers at Bandai still decided to go all out on this kit. It has this Chinese armor aesthetic it was going for, and it has this cool gimmick where the right arm can unfold into a dragon. The bright colors are also a plus. I'm impressed by how the blue and yellow trim is actually plastic pieces and not stickers. The only negative on this kit I can think of is the green circles on the shoulders, which are stickers. They don't look quite right, but despite that, this kit is really solid. A good choice for Target as it helps build the Operation Meteor team, and we'll keep doing it with the next kit. The next kit we're going to look at is the high-grade Gundam Death Scythe, originally released in 2021 and selling at Target for $22. This kit is also very cool. The scythe has a working hinge, the shield turns into a beam claw thing, the edgelord armor with yellow trim that's actually plastic and not stickers. This is a design that I think still holds up. Next kit is also from Gundam Wing. The high-grade Gundam Sandrock, originally released in 2019 and selling at Target for $22. I was actually having a hard time finding this kit, so I'm really happy that Target decided to stock it. This kit, while light on the weapons, makes up for it with the small details. barely any stickers are needed to make this kit, and the weapons it does have are really nice. 2 big swords with both normal blades and what are supposed to be glowing hot ones, this backpack that can be used to store the swords, and a shield. The backpack, the shield, and the swords can be combined to form this arm-mounted claw. A really nice kit. I bet a lot of people who grew up with Gundam Wing were happy to see this on store shelves. And with that, we have the entire Operation Meteor team, minus the original Wing Gundam for some reason. My one fear at this time was that Target couldn't tell the difference between the Wing Gundam and the Wing Zero Gundam, because that would have been sad. And the next kit is another entry grade kit, which is perfect for beginners. It's the entry grade new Gundam. What about the entry grade Strike Gundam? We're skipping it? We're skipping the main character from Gundam Seed? Okay. Anyways, this kit is pretty good. Selling for $12 and originally released in 2020. This kit is pretty tall. It still has that really well thought out construction that leads to both an easier build experience and requires no stickers. Okay, 1 sticker. Okay, 2 stickers. Still very good. It comes with a cool rifle and a shield that I believe has missiles and a laser gun on it. It also has the hilt for the beam saber, but does not include beams. One thing about this kit that isn't really an issue but bothers me is the lack of the wing. You know, the one wing angel thing this Gundam had that makes it iconic. They advertise you can use the wing from the old HEUC kit, but beginners are probably not going to have that. I don't know why Bandai expects people to buy both. Expects normal people to buy both. Would have been that much more plastic to just give a dummy wing, like a solid one that didn't split into individual drones. Well, I'm going to rank this kit based on what it is rather than what it isn't. And what it is a solid model kit that people of any skill level can enjoy building. Last kit from this wave is the real grade Wing Gundam. Well, that completes the Operation Meteor team, I guess. Originally released in 2021 and selling at Target for $38. So this is another RG kit and I passed on it. But apparently this kit was actually really good. It's highly detailed, very posable, and apparently doesn't require part swapping for the transformation. All good things. I kind of regret not getting this kit now. It's a relatively complex build, so not exactly for beginners, but the price point is good, and it completes the team. I think this was a good choice for a wide release. I think it makes sense for them to make the main Gundam a slightly more advanced grade. It would get newcomers to give it a try. In March of 2023, Season 2 of Gundam The Witch from Mercury was about to be released on YouTube for free on Gundam Info. A really solid show that was already making headlines, bringing many new fans to the Gundam franchise in the process. So this was the perfect time for Bandai to start sending Target new kits to sell. And so they did. The high-grade Gundam Ariel was originally released in 2022 and was sold at Target for only $16. This was an awesome release because not only is this the main character's Gundam from the new show, but it is also being sold out everywhere else, making this kit hard to find outside of eBay scalpers. So a wide general release of this kit in the United States was an amazing decision, in my opinion, especially at that price point. Gotta show those scalpers what's what. This kit is basically Bandai showing off. Specially made transparent pieces with printing inside of them somehow, a shield that splits into multiple drones that you can't display, and also becomes extra armor for the Gundam, beam swords, and a giant big gun that also turns into a bigger sword. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. This kit isn't perfect though. There are a lot of stickers on it, and many of them don't seem to like sticking to this kit. Also, the hips are not as articulate as most other Gundam kits due to the design, but I still think it's fine overall. This is the perfect kit for newcomers to the franchise. It's a sleek Gundam design in its own right, so in my opinion, this is one of the best kits to be released to Target so far. The next kit in this wave is the high-grade God Kit. The high-grade G Gundam, originally released in 2010 and selling at Target for $22. Now, I question the logic behind selling this kit before the Shining Gundam, which I believe to be more recognizable, but lots of people online still seem to remember the erupting, burning finger attack, so what do I know? It also comes with a couple beam sabers, glowing hands for the aforementioned erupting, burning finger, and a lot of hands for martial arts poses. The backpack has wings that open up and can detach from the Gundam to become the core lander craft. The chest opens up to reveal what I assume is some sort of generator from when he does the erupting burning finger attack. So this kit is kind of light on the accessories, but I can forgive it for being a cool design and have some neat gimmicks. What I can't forgive though is the amount of crummy stickers that they want us to apply. See all these black lines? I went in there with a fine tip Sharpie and it seemed to work, but if someone didn't have a fine tip Sharpie and just left it bare, it wouldn't look good. And I don't think it would look good even if you did use the stickers. So not the best release, but far from the worst. The next kit from this wave is the high-grade Destiny Gundam, originally released in 2019 and sold at Target for $22. This kit is very cool. Big wings with laser effect parts, a laser rifle, a big green gun, a big sword with a beam edge, beam knives, a shield that can be swapped for a beam effect part. The back can be a little heavy, especially with the wings expanded, but the legs seem solid enough where you can still get some cool poses out of it without a stand. Again, I haven't seen this show, but I think this is one of the main Gundams from Seed Destiny, so in that case it kind of makes sense for this Gundam to have a wider release. So this, in my opinion, is probably a good... By December of 2023, Gundam The Witch from Mercury had concluded, and I was really surprised that Bandai hadn't tried sending more kits from the series to Target while the episodes were still coming out. But then they released 2 new kits, and I assume they held these kits back because of spoilers, or most likely because of supply chain issues. The high-grade Gundam Aerial Rebuild sold at Target for $22. The Aerial Rebuild is meant to be, well, a rebuild of the original Aerial. It's essentially a new kit with only a couple shared parts from the original Aerial. It swaps the lighter blue for a dark navy blue, showing that playtime is over, and it means business. It's got a new backpack with bigger thrusters. The shield is slightly different, but it still splits into pieces and can become armor. But it also can combine with the beam rifle to become an even bigger gun. That is awesome. This kit also has substantially less stickers than the original Aerial, and the hips are less restricted. While I personally prefer the look of the original Aerial, I can't deny that this kit is another great choice to release to Target. The last kit of 2023 is the high-grade Gundam Calibarn, selling for $22. I was really happy that Target was able to stock all 3 main Gundams from the Witch from Mercury series. I remember when it first came out, everyone was calling this the best high-grade kit ever made. While I'm not sure if I agree with that, this is without a doubt an amazing kit. You get a white version of the shield included with the Aerial Rebuild that can still do the armor thing, along with 2 beam sabers. This kit also takes the witch theme to the next level, with the main weapon meant to look like a witch's brew. The weapon is pretty well balanced, so the Gundam can stand on its own even when holding it, but Bandai decided to include an actual transparent stand. I mean, it's nothing flashy, but it's greatly appreciated bonus and makes display a whole lot easier. I have to mention how much I love the rainbow coloring on the head crest and the torso. I don't know how they did it, but it's really pretty. Anyways, this kit is awesome. An amazing release for Bandai to release to the States. So that brings us to the current year of 2024. 4 straight years of Gundam kits being sold at Target. Unfortunately, compared to the last couple of years, it seems like the number of releases is going to be substantially lower for this year. However, we're only halfway through the year, so there's still more time for more kits. But let's look at what we have so far. As of July of 2024, we have 2 kits, and both kits started to be put on shelves around March, and are from the Gundam series Gundam Build Metaverse. Looks like Bandai jumped on the Metaverse hype train, which led to hilarious results. But we're not here to talk about questionable business decisions. We're here to talk about model kits. The first kit I'm going to look at is the entry grade La Gundam. Currently selling at Target for around $14. This is a modified version of the entry grade RX-78-2 with some new armor pieces and some new weapons. You get the same rifle as before, but now you can swap the sight for a new orange one. The shield was also swapped for a smaller shield, and while the beam saber hilts are included, you're actually meant to use this beam Naginata spear that actually includes a beam effect part. Many of the original kit's parts are also included, so you can swap them out for a more traditional look if desired. This kit was received lukewarmly online, but I think it's great. It's slightly more complex than the original kit, but not by much. So it's still really good for beginners. The shade of orange they use also might not be for everyone, but I like it. However, I personally would recommend the next kit over this one if you can only get one. The last kit on this list, the entry grade Strike Exceed Galaxy, selling for $14. Ah, there's the entry grade Strike. Although the modifications on it have been so substantial that you can barely see the resemblance between them. So it seems like they took the Strike Gundam and made it look like the Unicorn Gundam. I think it looks good. It comes with both the original rifle along with a new one that doubles as a big sword and also includes a beam effect part. How wonderful. It also includes a shield and a backpack that transforms into a small jet. The kit also includes a backpack adapter and some male-to-male 3mm attachment pins to attach more accessories to the model if desired. I personally feel like it's a better value than the La Gundam, but both are good purchases, especially for the prices they're being sold at. I really do hope this isn't the end for Gundam model kits at Target, because I think a lot of people are appreciating being able to have easier access to these kits. It can also lead to more strangers to impulse buying them to try the hobby out for the first time. Now, what do I think Bandai is going to send over next? Well, the RX-78-2 is getting a new redone RG kit that everyone seems excited about, and it would make sense for the face of the franchise to have another release at Target, though this would be like the third or fourth time on shelves. And remember, normal people don't know the difference between entry grade, high grade, and real grade kits. What I think Bandai is more likely to do is release the kits based on what media is currently releasing. The Gundam Seed Freedom movie is apparently doing gangbusters in Japan, so I'd assume they want to capitalize on foreigners waiting to see the movie and at least release the main two kits, the Rising Freedom and the Immortal Justice. There's also the Netflix Gundam series Requiem for Vengeance coming out soon with a couple of model kits on the way, so I would also assume Bandai would want to release those as coinciding merch. The designs aren't for everyone, but I think some people would appreciate having easier access to them. I also would think Bandai would want to release other main character Gundams like the Shining Gundam or the Gundam X, not that one, or maybe even the Turn A Gundam, partially designed by famous American designer Sid Mead. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll probably get more Dragon Ball and Star Wars kits along the way too. I see One Piece model kits being sold at Target now. That's neat. Now, what kits do I want Bandai released to Target, even though they probably won't? I would like to see more Gundam model kits of mobile suits that aren't Gundams. The green version of the Zaku 2 Revive is an excellent kit, and I think it would sell well to beginners, customizers, and army builders alike. Bandai could also release kits like the Gyaradoga and the Dialgug, and I think they still hold up despite their age. The Bear Guys also seem to be loved by many, so they could release a bunch of those. I also know that Bandai doesn't exclusively sell Gundam model kits to Target, so I think it would be a good idea for Target to stock the upcoming 30-minute missions Armored Core Fires of Rubicon model kits. I know they're kind of on the expensive side, and Target seems to be capping the price they're willing to sell these HG style kits at $25, but they're relatively big, and I bet a lot of people would be willing to pay that much to have a model kit of Rusty and 621 at the very least. Speaking of 30-minute missions, I think that whole model kit series would be a good addition to Target shelves. Sure, there's not really any media attached to the line, but I think the focus on customizability and the kit's purposeful ease of construction would be great for newcomers to the hobby. However, if I remember correctly, they did sell them briefly at Barnes & Noble, but they stopped rather quickly, so maybe they weren't selling as much as they hoped. But anyways, that's everything I have on this topic so far. Can't wait to see what comes next. Bye.